My name is Steve Miller and I own the Gables Cosmetics company in Los Angeles, California. It's one of the last of the family-owned personal care manufacturing companies left in the United States. When I was a little kid, I grew up with the names like Steve Stefano, who had Joico, John Sebastian, who had Sebastian products. Paul Mitchell was one of our first customers coming in to make a product in our factory. Jerry Redding, who at that time was a magazine salesman before he even started his first product line. So we go back a long way. We're last of the dinosaurs. My grandfather started the company in 1932, and we've been continuously in operation for 80 years. I'm a private label contractor. I make products to put your name on a product so you can sell it for a high price to customers who have no money, and life is good and this is what we do. And then you make up all these nice stories about how it makes your hair healthier, more vibrant, lasts longer, extends everything. Every story that you watch on TV, it's so much fun, really. All I make is shampoo, conditioners, hairspray, styling gels, and all those products, and it's just supposed to clean. Detergents were a hygiene product to get whatever crap was on your head and scalp to prevent disease and bacteria. You as hairdressers were then now in charge of making someone look pretty, and that's the job of what we do. So, because this is a simple class, I can't make a molecule lie. I can be a salesman when this is over and sell you anything because this is what I do for a living, is to sell product consumers. And every day someone will walk into my factory and want to put their name on a bottle, hoping to be the next big candy line, which is what we affectionately call the lines that you sell in salons, to a consumer to make them happier. And that's how I do it. Same sauce, same bottle, different color, different perfume, new name, and then somebody's out there telling you when they walk into your salon how it's going to make you better, happier, more money, sell it to your customers, advertise, and at some point in their career, when they get to be really, really big, they will sell it to the grocery stores and abandon you like they have for the last 60 or so years with every brand from Wella to currently Mitchell and Redken, who now are in the grocery stores along with Lonza and just about everybody else that I see. But that's the nature of the business. You guys are the first line salesmen. In essence, you're where somebody has to go to sell a product because you talk to a consumer. You're in essence what we call the Trader Joe's of the business, because that's where little companies who can't get into Albertsons go to Trader Joe, they put their product in until it becomes a brand name, and when it becomes a brand name, bango, they're off at Albertsons selling it to a customer. You guys are that particular marketing of the business. How we started years and years ago, we made soap. In 1932 there was no such thing as detergent. This is what detergent looks like. It's the big demon of life, sodium lauryl sulfate, invented by German scientists back in 1914. Very interesting product, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but let me tell you how we started with soap. Soap is the first cleaner. We've had it around for 6,000 years. The Babylonians first invented it when they discovered they could cook their goat over a fire, landed in the ashes. The ashes have a pH, by the way. It's called potash. What else would you call ashes? It's a good fertilizer, but it has a pH of about 9, 10, somewhere in that neighborhood. And a lot of times when you guys want to do soap at home, he'll show you how to take your ashes, briquettes, charcoal, stick it in a bucket of water, and then squeeze out the water, and you'll find that you have just created lye in the water. That's the first invention of lye. Well, any fat, grease, cooking grease, lard, olive oil, any oil, they're fats. According to chemistry, we cook, that's all they know. So you take a little lye, a little bit of lard or cooking oil or grease, boil the thing, put the two together, and what happens is the term saponification. It turns into curd and whey, and the thing becomes a big glob of soap. And that's how we first invented the first chemical product ever invented by man 6,000 years ago. And we've used it and put a little bit of frankincense and myrrh or perfume or you name it, and you've got basically glycerin hand soap, because one of the byproducts of soap manufacturing is the glycerin, which is the slippery part, which is why men use it for shaving, and they have a nice foamy beard, and they put the glycerin in the soap and they can pull the whiskers off very nicely. It adds the lubricant. And you guys have seen hand soaps forever. Sometimes we leave it in, sometimes we take it out depending on the brand of soap you prefer to buy. The more slimy that it gets, that's the feel of glycerin. When we remove the glycerin, it's a little drier, cleaner soap, and it depends on what you ladies feel like at the time. And we can tell, or maybe you can in time, to find, you know, when you start to do this, how slippery the bar becomes. If it's really one of those squeezy bars, it's got a lot of glycerin in it. And that for you, depending on what you personally like, don't need, or whatever your opinions are. But that's how we had soap. Soap cleans by manipulation, hence the old scrub boards, those Maytags that beat your clothes to death. You need to really manipulate and scrub the hair. You put the soap on it and do all that nice scrubbing and working, because soap actually has to remove the dirt, oil, and grease and whatever through rubbing and scrubbing. Hence the term you've heard a million times, you know, scrub this, scrub that, and whatever you're going to do. Detergent was a different product, invented by the Germans, as I mentioned, scientists, 1914, because they were in the war. Glycerin was a very important product for war manufacturing because it was a second ingredient for what we called nitroglycerin. Nitric acid mixed with the glycerin product became nitroglycerin. And they needed that for blowing up stuff. And so therefore everybody had to turn in their soap. World War II, we did the same thing. People were asked to please give us all your garbage, anything that, you know, cooking fats and oils, put them in cans. The government picked it up and needed it for the manufacturing of war munitions. In case of national disaster, as everybody is, you know, putting things away like food in case there's a calamity, one of the things that you need to put away is a cleaning product. Because if you're not clean, hygiene becomes a major issue for disease. You can't have a soldier fight his best battle if he's got eczema, seborrhea, psoriasis, athlete's foot, rashes. He's got to be a fighting machine. And you've got to have them clean. You also have to have a way to clean your machinery, your guns, your tanks, anything that's moving. A detergent was invented, and you've heard of it, SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate. There are three that we generally use in the manufacturing of soap. SLS, ammonium lauryl sulfate, ALS, and sodium lauryth sulfate, SLES. Those are the three types. Primarily, the first one ever used, SLS, seems to become a villain because now we're on an anti-sulfate craze. But the German scientists figured out that using sulfates was just like the fat in your hair, and it needed a mate. And it figured out, well, where was the grease? Since we don't have grease to add, where's grease? Everybody had a greasy head of hair and a greasy body. He just invented half the molecule to look for the grease that was on your body. The two combined in any temperature of water, you swish it around on your head, and you made soap on your body, and you washed yourself, and it cleaned off. Today, as you probably noticed, when you apply this detergent to your hair, if you wet the client, pour this on, let it run into the sink and squirt, all the stuff comes off that quickly. You don't need to do the manipulation. However, because we have done it for so long, and everybody likes to do this for so long, we do it. It's part of the treatment of what you're taught to do. In 1,600 hours to learn to shampoo, I guarantee you. But everybody knows how to shampoo your hair. But you kind of like to do this part. Now, one of the advantages and disadvantages that you probably see that people will advertise, this is a low foamer. Just like the Win product you actually hear them advertise. Win is formulated not to have a lot of lather. Well, he doesn't put any foamers in it. It saves money, about 50 cents a bottle, a little more profit to his pocket. It doesn't foam because it's not supposed to foam. It's just supposed to clean and remove the dirt. We add bubble bath. The next ingredient, or third ingredient you usually see on the label is cocamide propyl betaine, which looks just kind of like that little caramel color. And the betaine basically is nothing more than bubble bath, and we put it in your product just for one purpose. Give you something to mentally feel good about yourselves. It adds lather. Doesn't do anything for the cleaning, but it's a placebo. It makes you feel good that you think it looks like soap. We try to make it look like soap, and we make a variety of these depending on which bottle of product that you want to buy. The question becomes one is a little bit, a little more, medium, super medium, very medium, and tons of soap till it comes out your ears, because some of you really have to have soap to think it works. I thing in a bottle for any reason, and I had one client came in who had a product, and he gave me the perfume he wanted. It was really nice. We worked on how much lather he had with all the foo-foo ingredients, you know, the kelp, the chrysanthemum, the horsetail, the you name it, vitamin A, B, C, F, and D. And I said, well, by the way, what percentage of detergent you want? He says, I don't really care if it has detergent. I just want it to lather a lot and smell good. People will buy it. You got it. As long as it's check cleared. We made his shampoo as a happy product, and basically he sold bubble bath for your head. I guess if you used enough water, you probably would get something clean. I don't know. I didn't care. But I mean, you know, money talks, and I'll put anything in a bottle as long as it isn't illegal. But this is the third ingredient. After that, it's called cosmetic puffering. The FDA actually gave it a name since they figure you ladies won't get hurt by putting in things like, like we mentioned, I got jojoba, I got aloe vera, I got vitamins, I've got every botanical that you think under the sun. Everybody has a good idea what botanical they think is the best. Everybody's heard of them, and everybody's been sold on them, and everybody's been recommended by a friend or a neighbor or another girlfriend who says, oh, if it doesn't have vitamin E, it isn't going to be good. Or cocoa butter, or shea butter, or does it do anything to the hair? Actually, it doesn't, because if the detergent is doing its job, once you add the water, start the agitation on the hair, Mr. Detergent here thinks the vitamin E is just another piece of scum on your hair and washes it back out. It don't know the difference. Welcome to Mr. Cleaner. That's all it does. The way go ahead.
So when you said then it's basically without the bubble bath, that's why it's less lather?
Less lather. Don't put the bubble bath in it. And basically, it works just fine without it. Now for professional products, and this is where, when we sell the school products, we keep the lather down to a minimum for several reasons. As my mother, I'd like to bring her by to a class one time. You guys ought to meet her. She's 93 years old. She got her cosmetology license in 1936 and has been actively cutting hair all this time. She's California's oldest living continuously licensed cosmetologist.
And she hasn't retired?
And she hasn't retired. No, when you get to be that age, you got to have something to do.
Wow.
It's not that she needs the money, she just wants something. Senior center and cuts everybody's hair, and she's a sweetheart. But basically, the reason is time is money. You will learn that standing behind a chair all day, you can do so many clients. It's your hot water, it's your water softener, it's your fees pouring water out of that sink by the gallons to try to rinse this stuff off. I have seen so many clients come into a salon, put their head in that sink, they add water, and they got bubbles. So you want something that rinses fast in a profession. When they go home with product you sell them, then sell them as much as whatever they want of the brand they like. That's my best suggestion. That's how you make money in this business. Questions? Okay.
So, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So, a back bar item is going to have less suds than a take home. It could be the same brand, like a Paul Mitchell back bar.
That's what we try to generally do. Back bar items are supposedly designed to have less lather. Not all brands are that way, because some just make one brand. I know Aware was that way, and Aveda was that way. They were just happy to get product out the door. It didn't matter who. They didn't even care if you even used it in their salon, as long as you retailed it. And so basically this was a place where clients could come, do their hair, you'd use whatever back bar product you've had, then sell them something out the door, whatever you were trying to promote and push. Totally different that type of aspect. But you've been doing this business forever. The last thing you want to do is spend 20 minutes, 10, whatever it is, trying to rinse somebody's hair. Time is money, water is money, and that faucet runs, that's just a bigger water bill at the end of the month. And if you could put an extra $100 in your pocket.
And you said the suds is more money too, so it's even a cheaper back bar item without the suds then.
It generally is. And you know, that's why Sally's has made a fortune. Sally's has usually more of the, you've never heard of brands, and they're designed for that. That's why Sally's is a billion-dollar corporation, because the products they put out and promote are basically designed for back bar use only. Not a lot of people walk into Sally's to buy a gallon of shampoo that doesn't suds when they're thinking, well, I can go to the Long's or Rite Aid or whatever and buy Lonza shampoo. And everybody's been programmed to figure if it doesn't lather, it doesn't work. And then generally, we know how to market to you ladies. The first thing you do when you buy a shampoo, I get a kick out of this. And then you do one of those with the eyeballs. And I'm sitting there going, what is this? You can smell the best shampoo in the world by knowing this is the great stuff because it smells good? And so we go, what the hell was that smell? We walk over and you go, oh, it smelled like, was that mint or was that lavender? We try to figure out what smells good. And then we put a new shampoo out. It was like me doing hand lotion. Trying to figure out which hand lotion had the best smell for you ladies. I got 7 different things and everybody smells each one. Trying to decide which hand lotion they want to use. It's hand lotion, guys. Pick one. And I go, no, I have to smell all of them. Okay. Apparently this is important. I don't understand it. It has nothing to do with chemistry, absolutely nothing to do with science, everything to do with voodoo. But I guess, you know, if I can make a sale and voodoo works, guys, we will sell you the right shampoo and the right conditioner and the right whatever with the right smell. I currently put, over 200 different perfumes to different people. You can't believe my basic expense in my company is my perfumes. I have a safe and a vault in a room just designed to keep some of the more expensive perfumes, which are exotic. Essential oils, $50, $60 we spend on perfumes. That's kind of a nickel's worth of detergent. Let me tell you some funny stories because I get a kick out of all this. Is some of it's just marketing. And a lot of it's, again, what you see for me it's all the same. It's kind of like watching Iron Chef, what I do for a living, and you've seen that program where guys have all these ingredients behind them and then they're told, make something. And the 3 guys get together for 1 hour and they're going to make this meal and all the judges judge who made the best whatever dinner. I'm a chemist. I have the same thing. I have all the same ingredients that every company in the world makes. And in the end, I'm going to make a hamburger. And the guy next to me is going to make his hamburger. Out of the same ingredients behind me, and the next guy's going to make their hamburger or her hamburger. Out of the same ingredients behind me. In the end, we have 3 hamburgers. They just taste differently. Which is why we have hamburgers today. We have meat, we have a couple of pieces of cheese maybe, lettuce on the top, lettuce on the bottom, depending on if it's an In-N-Out or a Burger King. A couple of tomatoes, maybe it's 2 pickles, maybe it's 3 pickles. In the end, it's still a hamburger. Detergents are the same thing. We take the hamburgers and we take the detergents, and for me, I see it as all identical. You mix one, you mix another, they all look alike to me. So I don't get too crazy when it comes to which is the best one. It's the one you like, or it's the one you can sell, or it's the one your customer likes, or it's the one the customer can buy. It still is supposed to clean. That's the whole object of the point of why we spend, in my mind, no time on detergents, and what your teachers are designed to do and what you need to understand. They teach you to use these and what's in your heart to be creative. You are the people that make people look good after you get the dirt off their hair. I just get the dirt off their hair. There is no science for what I do, but yet considerable amount of time is discussed on which shampoo and the things you need to do to make money. Not one of them is, oh, by the way, let's all pick shampoo. I grew up remembering Jerry Redding. I don't know if you know Jerry Redding or heard Jerry Redding's name. Jerry Redding had Jerry Redding shampoo. It's in the grocery stores now. When he came into the factory to make his product, he was the guy that advocated putting mayonnaise in products, eggs in products, eucalyptus oil in products. He wanted the new concept. He lost that in a divorce settlement with his first wife. He started Jermac. You've probably gone to the grocery store, and if you've seen Jermac at Ralph's or Albertsons, it's right alongside. He lost that in a divorce settlement with his second wife. Then Paula Kent Mahan, who was a really nice lady, an out-of-work actress, they put their names together and formed the company called Redken. That's where you get the Paula Kent and Jerry Redding, you get Redken. And they ran that company for years. She sold it for $400 million. He took his son Steve Redding and started his 4th company, Nexus. Nexus is, by the way, made in Chatsworth here somewhere, Contract Labs of America, one of my competitors, and they make the Nexus line. That was his 4th line. If you want to see a feud, you ought to see the Redken reps and the Nexus reps, I mean, they go head to head because the Redken people are absolutely dying in the wool that even though they're bought out by a French company called L'Oreal, theirs is the greatest thing since sliced bread going into the salons. They're nuts. The Nexus reps, on the other hand, go, well, yeah, but we're Jerry's fourth company that made all his improvements over the Redken line, and they just go head to head. You know, I guess, but it's the funniest thing you've ever want to see. The next company he did was LA Look. By that time, you salon owners wouldn't put it in your salon. You were tired of designing something in that was going to go to a grocery store or another distribution chain, and you wouldn't design it in. So if you go to Target today or Walmart, you'll see LA Look. The brand is made by another one of my competitors, the Depp Company, down at Rancho Dominguez down by LAX. And they make the LA Look line. The man has 4 sauces, same stuff, changed the perfume, and basically had you guys design it in your salons. They knocked themselves out to have you guys sell it. Once you did, he yanked it to the grocery store. Same as Paul Mitchell, who claims to never divert. I still see it in the grocery stores. I can assure you, as a business owner, no pallets of anything go out my door without proper shipping documents, some big truck picking it up, forklifts loading it on the truck. It just doesn't leak out my factory, somehow miraculously ending up at Costco. It just ain't going to happen. Number one, you know, Costco wants buyback privileges, they want advertising dollars. I can't imagine anybody diverting that unless I put my name on it, my product liability around it, give them all these perks to advertise my product. That stuff doesn't just leak out. And there it ends up at Costco. So if you see stuff at Costco, and Costco's a $6 billion company, why would they need to divert product? Who cares? They wouldn't get caught dead. A $6 billion company buying from a $600 million company, the money ain't there. I mean, they're not going to, the reputation of being on 60 Minutes going, ha-ha, you diverted Paul Mitchell. I don't think so. I mean, that's just too big of an embarrassment from an advertising standpoint. It just doesn't happen. Justification for a contract like that is volume. When Kirkland basically is a factory that I know that's up in Kirkland, Washington, that's where it got its name. And Starbucks, as you know, is another Seattle-based company. What induces us, just like Farouk, him and his son, are in Texas, and they're in Costco with what you call BioSilk. Remember that name? Once they saturated the market and you got everything you could get from your main line of branded product, everybody who knew it. And most of the time your sales will start to be flat at that point because everybody who likes it. The next thing you have to figure out is well, I've got this much market because it's a branded name. If I'm willing to give up 10 or 15% to the store and they're willing to market it as a brand that doesn't cost quite as much, but I get, instead of 40 points, 30 points, my volume can pick up. And so now I can move more volume for somebody who goes, hey, the Kirkland shampoo really works great, I like it. I'll buy it because it's cheaper and I save money. Other people need to buy the brand name. Farouk, for example, once they saturated BioSilk and they couldn't sell anymore, basically figured they dumped it right in Costco in a heartbeat, as you know. Then the next thing, his kid, bless his heart, another brand called Chi. Same product, different perfume, right to the salon owners to get it designed in. Same product.
Same product as what?
As BioSilk.
Oh, okay.
Same thing, just change the name, add it again to try to build up more sales. A perfect example and a good example is once upon a time when Paul Mitchell outgrew us. He grew faster than my business to expand for his growth. He was one of those lucky boys. Did a lot of work to build his line. Went to another guy, and ended up at, I believe, Star Lab in Riverside. And for about 18, 19 years, Star made their shampoo. It's BioTurge 805 is the base product. An alkali-based SLS shampoo, as you can see on the label. And problem was, from my understanding, Gino, I believe, who owned the company, was unfortunately deciding that it was nice to sell the product to salon owners or somebody out the back door on Saturdays or some, and I don't have the story, but there was a $3.5 million dispute. That part I do know, I think. And somewhere along the line in that dispute, Paul Mitchell decided to pull their contract from that contract packager. This is my biggest fear of losing anybody, because then I got to go find somebody to replace it for my crew. Well, he lost the company and hooked up with a guy named John Bakke. And Bakke Labs currently runs it. They're in Santa Clarita on Via Princesa, and he currently makes the Paul Mitchell line today. Well, the problem is you got a crew of 300 people, you got a factory, you got tanks, you got boxes, you got chemicals, you got blank bottles, you got black caps, you got everything under the sun, and no Paul Mitchell contract. So we went out and had a new silk screen made. It says generic Paul Mitchell. You see it at Sally's today. We went over to Sally's and said, you want to buy Paul Mitchell? I've been making it for 18 years. Is it exactly the same? Sure. Was he making it for 18 years? Absolutely. Is there anything different in the formula? Nothing. Is it the same perfume bottle? What? It looks the same, other than generic Paul Mitchell. It's a lot less. Do you buy it? Unless you do, surprise me. Because people want to say, oh, it's got Paul Mitchell. Gotta be, it says Paul Mitchell. It doesn't say generic Paul Mitchell. You see, there's something that you guys have learned in, that's kind of why there used to be a company called Radio Shack, and used to have brand names, like you said. They go to Motorola, and Motorola would sell so many Motorola radios, and they would say, well, you know, you probably sell this many Motorola radios through 10,000 distributors. We're one guy, one paycheck, we'll give you one, you know, you ship us a bunch to our warehouse. Put Radio Shack on them. And they did for a lesser price, and they've been in business for years. Why Radio Shack has declined over the years was somebody over there decided we're going to eliminate the private label branding of companies like Motorola. And now they'll sell Sony and whatever else is, you know, you can buy at Best Buy or Sears and Roebuck. The problem is you go, I can get the same thing at Best Buy and Sears and Roebuck. Why would I want to go to a Radio Shack to buy a Sony TV? They only got 2 models. I go to Best Buy and they got 42 models to pick from. So there's a lot more to choose from. So Best Buy has really never bounced back from that disaster. So now they're relegated to selling parts and TV antennas for people who still have that, and batteries, and compete with the cell phone manufacturers. And I don't know how long that they will last, because they've lost their niche of selling not an off-brand, but the same brand under a private label that they could get a price point for people who didn't want to spend $3,000 for a plasma, but $2,500 gave them just enough edge where they wanted to buy it. That's your question. And sometimes price is everything. People shop on price. Unfortunately, I'm one of those. I did a lot of shopping at Radio Shack. But, you know, I'm still the kind of guy that when I run a business, I look at dollars. I'm going to hopefully be what you guys are going to become. Money is everything. I really don't want to spend, you know, $65 on a bottle of Pureology because it has nanotechnology. I don't have a clue what nanites are and how to buy nanites. I've heard them in Star Trek. I know they're little metal creatures that, you know, go around eating things at the subatomic level. I have no idea where I could buy a nanite to put it in shampoo, but it has it. Bless their scientists. I have no idea. And you pay $65 a quart for that stuff. I've never tried it, but that's one of the shampoos that I just won't spend the $65 to go and buy, stand in the shower and try to sing while I'm using it. But, you know, I'll give you another example of odd. People were buying hair color. Clairol owned the market. Everybody, my mother bought Clairol forever. It's in little glass bottles. You've seen them back 25 years ago or longer. Clairol sold for about 85 cents a bottle. Little metal cap, it was cute. L'Oreal, French company, came to America with L'Oreal hair color. And they sold nothing. Nobody was going to buy it because it was about $1.81, $1 more a bottle. And, you know, knowing how cheap my mother is on spending an extra $1 for hair color, nobody bought it. Well, they hired their first blonde spokesperson, and this is the power of advertising. Her name was Sybil Shepherd, and if you know her, she was doing a series called Moonlighting with Bruce Willis. She was America's sweetheart. The first of every blonde spokesperson the French had ever hired. All I hire is blondes. I think Heather Locklear is your current blonde spokesperson. Sybil Shepherd held that little bottle of hair color up, and she says, L'Oreal costs a little more, but I'm worth it. That became their $1 million tagline, because as soon as You realized she was worth it, you guys were worth it, and damn it, you weren't going to buy that cheap Clairol crap. You wanted to buy that more expensive L'Oreal crap, even though it was the same crap. Don't ask me why, because I'm a guy. Don't matter, I'm still looking at what's the cheapest thing in town. But you girls wanted, it was more expensive. I personally think, and I know for a fact, that this is how you buy is the other ingredient on why you buy stuff. I was in a salon in San Dimas, California, talking to Darren, the owner. And I did one of those sins, because this is like confession, you know, it's good for the soul. And we were talking dirty, and a lady came in having a good time, and she walked right over in front of us to pick up a bottle of cuticle softener, a product that I make, our company invented. Thick and creamy is mine, watery, runny is Blue Cross and Maurice, somewhere in North Hollywood. And we make cuticle softener. We're the two major companies of cuticle softener in the world, if not the United States. Mine is thick and creamy, his is watery, and everybody knows the brands, or the types. And she picked up a bottle from a company called Supernail, if anyone's heard of it. And I asked her, well, you know, just out of curiosity, this is where my sin started, why are you buying Supernail when you can buy the Gable brand right next to it for $1 a bottle less? And her comment was, oh, I love the Supernail. It is so wonderful. I've been using it for 20 years. And Gables is just trash. And that's when I lost it. I said, well, let's look at the ingredients. Look, da-da-da-da-da-da. They're identical. They're the same ingredients. Look, and this one was made on October 10th. This one was made. Smell, smell, smell. Same perfume. I'm the Gable company. I bottled for Supernail. Never, ever should have told you who I bottled for. It was a sin. May I burn in hell for that. And she realized, you bottled for this company and I've been buying it all this time for more money? And then she said every expletive I have ever heard in my life. I thought she was a sailor. I was so embarrassed on that, she put me back. And she says, well then, after she said the damn it word, she put it back on the shelf and brought ProteNail, which was pink, and out the door she paid for it, which was even $1 more. I didn't want to tell her, I make ProteNail too, I just put pink food color in. Same thing. All 7 brands Estelena unit the man had were my product. I just changed the color. I don't even change the perfume on any of them. Blue, 3 whites, a pink, and what was the difference? But for some reason, each one costs more, because if I sell it to you, and my shampoo is $5 a bottle for a gallon, you've got to make money. So what are you going to charge for it? You're going to charge $9 a bottle when you sell it to the client, because there's got to be some reason that you're going to buy it from me. Now, I'm selling it $9 to these people, or $5. You have to make some profit. That's your sales commission. If nothing else, you're a rep, or a whatever you want to call yourself. That's how we make money in this business. Then in turn, they double their money and sell it to a client. That now becomes $15 a gallon to, a client walking out the door with it, going home. Those are their money as they move out. But, I should have never done that. It was wrong. It was a mistake. I should have let her be happy, but that was my mistake.
They have different effects on my head.
That's correct.
How do you explain?
Well, the reason it would was because each one is a different formula. What we do is maybe I'm at 6% on one shampoo, maybe I'm at 8% on one shampoo. The stuff that I sell to school is 18%. I want it to work fast, I want it no bubbles, and I want it to clean quickly. You may not like that at home, and therefore the effect of the hair will be different to you. Now, what is unique when somebody will ask the question, well, how come there isn't just one shampoo that everybody in this whole room likes? Everybody's physiology is uniquely different. Some people are very oily. Other people are not oily. Other people have very dry skin very quickly and need moisturization almost constantly, no matter what they use. And so we try to make a product that is adjusted to meet every physiological need that every person in this room has. Because you're all unique individuals. And it goes by, to be honest with you, it goes by, whatever race that we're selling to. We know the difference. Hispanics here, Middle Easterners here, African American there, European number 6, which we gave Europeans a number because there's a grading level of 1 through number. I happen to be because I'm German, I'm European number 6. And that's how we basically understand what we have to market a product to. I make a product, Johnny B, if everyone's heard of it. It's a great product line. He markets exclusively to the Hispanic community. The Asians won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Just happens to be the way it goes.
So some things like oil into it, like when you wash it, the detergent just takes it out.
Yes, it does.
So it wouldn't make any difference.
Well, you got leave behinds. How much bubble bath do we add is a leave behind depending on how well you rinse. Maybe you rinse like a good thing, and some are easier to rinse out. Therefore, you get a different feel where other things that don't rinse out well and give you a feel that isn't pleasant to you, or that is pleasant to you. That's for you to tell me. Or if I'm making the shampoo and I'm giving you a shampoo with a 6% active detergent, it could be that in a second shampoo I'm giving you an 8% active detergent base. We would have to tell you what the shampoo, and that's called the solids. We weigh the solids in the shampoo. And that's how we do it scientifically, to give you that particular feel that you respect. Now what you respect for you, unfortunately, where the salon owners get into trouble, may not be what your client who sits in your chair would respect. For example, as much as I've made Paul Mitchell, like Paul Mitchell, and know Paul Mitchell, and they're a wonderful company, and I teach at their schools, and they're great people, I can't stand their hairspray. For some reason, it makes my hair feel like straw. It just isn't a man's hairspray. Great for women, I guess they love it, they sell a lot of it. But it isn't my style, and it isn't pleasing to my taste. So that's personal, but does that mean they don't sell it? They sell a lot. Do you guys buy it? I hope so. But I don't know anything about, it's kind of like everybody has their favorite hamburger place. Mine happens to be Fuddruckers, Second Islands, Third Burger King. But if I take a poll in here and what's your favorite burger, I'm going to have, how many people like In-N-Out? Yeah, a bunch of hands go up. How many people like McDonald's? Hands will go up. Everybody has a different... Oh, fat burgers. That's number 4. I like fat burgers. There's a lot of cuticle oils out there. We make it using mineral oil. And the reason we use mineral oil is one of those items that will prevent bacteria. You cannot grow bacteria in mineral oil. Vegetable oil, on the other hand, which is different than, it's cooking oil. That's what you cook in. Safflower oil, which you see, which is sunflower. It's basically Wesson oil. Castor oil, the variety of vegetable oils. And when people couldn't buy pure mineral oil, you can go to any grocery store and make oil, buy oil, put it in a bottle, add perfume, and sell it out there. The disadvantage is vegetable oil, just like salad dressing, has a propensity to turn rancid. It's a biological. Number 2, because it's a biological, you may have an allergy, food allergy to it. So therefore, using it on you as a client, as a practitioner, or using it on a client, you have to be very careful what vegetable oil you're using. Mineral oil is inert. Nobody's ever allergic to it, can't be allergic to it. It's non-biological. Bacteria can't grow in it, which is why in the massage business, for massage therapists, people who, this now fast-growing business of foot massage, body massage, I sell a ton, and I'm going to, when I get back, shake the hands of one of my largest customers doing a meet, and they're buying, 30, 40 cases of white mineral oil for use in the salon in Koreatown, and they're just packed with business. And the reason is there's no tactile contact of transferring bacteria from the client to the masseuse or massage person and back and forth, because the mineral oil cannot transmit bacteria. The disadvantage is people hate mineral oil. It's odd. I don't know why. I wrote something bad about that, and so everybody fights it. But it works. Every medication that you see on the market, like Neosporin, is made out of mineral oil petrolatum product. All acne medicines, mineral oil petrolatum product. You have lipstick. You guys will swallow. Well, it's mineral oil. It's petrolatum.
Pure mineral oil today.
Go right to the beauty supply. I sell it right. I sell a ton of it. Pure mineral oil, baby oil, 100% pure, USP pure. But one thing to let you know from next. When we shut the cuticle down by putting acid in it, citric acid is the primary, or any of the alpha hydroxy acids that you see. We like to use citric. There's glycolic, there's tartaric, you know all the fruit acids that are out there. There's 5 of them. It slams the cuticle down. It makes the hair stiff. And in some cases, that's pleasant for people who have long hair. You want it to be, close and shiny and tight. It has a good reflection, and so people like shine. And if you don't get shine with straight hair, we add shiners to it, such as silicones. Coat the hair in the case where we have an alkali shampoo. It's your professional choice to determine which one you think you need to be. The majority of shampoos on the market that you buy are in fact alkaline. The few that aren't will advertise that they aren't. Joico, Lonza, somewhere between 4.5 and 5.5. Now, one of the things you have to know from your chemistry standpoint, even though the shampoo says it's an acid shampoo and we adjust it to be so, remember the last thing that touches your hair is the last chemical that touches your hair. Water is 7. So even though you washed your hair with a 4.5, it doesn't mean that it's going to stay 4.5, because you may be washing your brains out, adding a ton of buku water that happens to be 7, and when you're done, your head's going to be 7. But it makes you feel good that you think you're using 4 or 5. So the last thing that touches, then you say, well, I'm going to put a conditioner on it, or a perm, or a something. Well, if you're doing that and that's the next item that touches it, guess what? The hair is going to go from whatever it was when you shampooed to whatever the last thing you did it if you're doing a relaxer after you cleaned it. I don't know. So all of a sudden it's now really going to be up there because you've got something that's 12, 13 if you're doing a perm. Meanwhile, the hair's going trying to figure out where it's supposed to be.
So what's good for this?
Huh?
Like, there's a shampoo out there called Soma. Claims to have a pH 4.5 to 5.5. So what difference is it going to make if I use that shampoo versus using alkaline shampoo? I'm going to be using water at the end. Is it going to make my hair feel different?
No.
Is that why you have to use the water softeners? Is that why they're using that to counterbalance
No.
water?
Joe, the only reason you use a water softener in a lot of cases, and I don't know very many salons that use them, water softeners basically give you more bubbles and quicker clean than hard water. It takes a lot of shampoo to work to get the lather built up with a hard water system. So to get the water give you more bubbles, we sell you softeners. One of the downsides is the water softener, as you know, adds salt. That's how it works. There's zeolite conversion process, and so there's salt in your water. That's why you never use a water softener to water your house plants. There's salt. There seems to be a reason why we don't want to add too much salt to a shampoo base. There seems to be some sense that it basically causes hair straighteners and relaxers to revert faster, because that seems to be the newest thing that I haven't really researched yet. But supposedly that's the buzzword on how much salt we put in any of these clarifiers. And if we put too much in, apparently what we thought was pretty permanent, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, may only knock off some weeks off the back end, and the process has to begin again. And it's a hard one to figure out. So we're still working on those numbers to try to see what we can do. Let me start with question. Yeah.
That silicone, does it close the cuticle, or is it
Has nothing to do with pH. This is totally inert. This is exactly like mineral oil. Silicone is made from sand, just like Silicon Valley. The same product. It was invented, actually, it's a unique product, been around for, since World War II. When Germany started the war, very tragic, they thought they could win the war keeping America out of the war because they control South America. Very key strategy in history. And by controlling South America, they controlled all the rubber plantations. You can't go to war without airplane tires, car tires, any kind of tires. You can't roll an army. They're not going to roll around on wagon wheels. And by controlling the rubber, they thought they could keep America out of the war. America was frantic to start research on how do you get synthetic rubber. Vulcanization came along. And everybody was charged to figure out how to make synthetic rubber, which we did, took us in the war, beat the crap out of the Germans. But in the process, the Dow company, trying to make a synthetic rubber, invented a silicone. And the first thing they did with it, trying to think it was cool, well, what do you do when you have this little blob of goo? They put it in plastic eggs and called it silly putty. Well, the Dow company, still trying to figure out what to do with the darn stuff, figured out, well, you know what, if we rechange it and work with it, we can make it into liquids and pastes. And guess what? It makes a heck of a good shiner. Because if you spray it on people's hair, Mega Shine, Multi-Shine, Super Shine, every shine and sheen, you name the shiny product, you put it on the hair, it makes your hair shiny. Good reflective because it's just a great coater. You put it on your car, it makes a great polish. And the whole market changed for the Dow company, and they've been selling silicone ever since. And it comes in a variety of products. From the thick paste that you would see, Angel, from Bath and Body Works, which is this thick goo that smells really good, looks like that you put on your skin and you rub it, and it makes it feel like baby soft, to cutting the formula to where it becomes a spray bottle, adding a perfume, and it's sold in every beauty supply under the sun under 50 different labels, and it's still called simethicone. And you'll see it on every label as simethicone. And all it is a shiner. We buy it as the term Shine Blend from a company on DeSoto Street, who basically bottles for this company and every other you want to make it. I'm pouring some perfume from Belle May in Van Nuys, California, spin it around with a pool cue, put it in any bottle in a sprayer, and you're in the shiner business. I don't know what to do with organic. Jojoba, for example, is a plant. Everybody knows what it was designed for. You grow it, you get a cut, you break off a thing, rub it on your cut, and it worked really well. Now you got jojoba in everything. But it's in such a low percentage, it's not like Kachunka and rub. 1 or 2% isn't going to do, but other than the advertising saying it contains jojoba. We do advertising a disservice. And the thing that hurts my feelings is things like cocoa butter. It's the queen of butters, has all the vitamin B. You eat it, it's healthy. Hershey's has made a fortune out of cocoa butter. Comes from the cocoa nut. It's grown at a very unique part around the equator. That's the only place it grows. In a band across South America, a band across Africa, that's where you get all the cocoa in the world. A disservice. Like it, it's in favor, it's out of favor, who cares? Shea butter came along. It's half the price. And the sad part is a whole bunch of nasty people basically said, in my mind, well, it comes from Africa, therefore the African community will embrace it because it comes from their native country, therefore they'll buy it, and it caught on. I thought that was cruel, and it was just people to live.
How would you explain the shelf life on shampoos? Is there an actual shelf life?
There is no shelf life.
There's
We
not?
put sell-by dates because the stores require it. They want 2 outs. Number one, if it doesn't sell, they want to return it. Having a shelf life date means if it doesn't sell and it has a shelf by a date of December 31st and they still have it on the shelf, they return it to me and I pay them back. Shipping in, shipping out. Costs me a lot of money. But they require it so they can unload it.
Okay. And my other one is, why do they change the bottling on shampoos and conditioners after like a few years? Is it for advertising reasons as well, or is it?
Man, you've asked the million-dollar question. I've watched Redken in the last 10 years change their bottle 6 times.
Right.
Paul Mitchell's done it 4. I don't know that answer. I am so frumpy. My bottles look like the 1950s. Bottle in the same jar that I've sold since 1950. And it works. You know, the product is to get the product to you. And I know packaging is everything. You know, if it looks pretty, you'll buy it. But when it comes to changing product, question.
To that, Sebastian, we went to a field trip. I think some of the girls here might have gone to the field trip over here to Sebastian. And they said they claim to have the #1 hairspray worldwide, which is Shaper. And they had the white packaging before, and they had changed the packaging because they revamped their whole line, and they noticed a big decline in sales of Shaper shampoo, Shaper hairspray. Same exact chemical on the inside, just changed the packaging because they changed it all to black. Noticed a decrease in sales, So they changed it back to the original packaging, which was just the color of the can, and now it's selling back again in better numbers than it used to.
Yeah.
My question was
Yeah.
about skin, and how much does our skin actually absorb product? I mean,
Okay, very fair question. This is a cosmetic business, kids. You're not doing anything to change anyone's biological arrangements, which means there's no drugs. And when people say, well, this penetrates all the way down from the epidermis down to who knows where, if it penetrates into where it gets into your blood system, you now have a drug. And we have to be very, very careful that all we do is affect a cosmetic look. Because if it does something other than that, you've crossed the line. How do I know that that drug may not be toxic? That drug may not affect your metabolism? That drug may not, give you migraines? That drug may not give you allergies? May make you sleepy? May cause something? We have to be very careful. Lotion is supposed to be nice, makes your hands feel soft. Go wash your hands, be a doctor, work on a patient. Wash your hands again, put on more lotion, see patient number 2. You got to make sure that it's only a cosmetic. That's why you have food, drug, and cosmetic when it comes to these. So if it penetrates, we don't know what allergy may occur in your system and cause some illness or have the liver have to process this thing and think it's a food. So you got to be careful.
cosmeceuticals and pharmaceuticals, and they say that pharmaceuticals are
Correct.
the
And cosmeceuticals basically are at a cross where they try to get a drug license and do some testing, but the testing is only for, well, it's a topical wrinkle cream that works for like a cosmetic. It's a tanning product, which will change the color of the skin. Who cares? It's not still a drug, and it's not a pharmaceutical. With a pharmaceutical, you need a medical doctor's license to give you a prescription.
Oh, so when we go to the skincare show and there's people selling pharmaceutical grade skincare products, even like La Roche-Posay, there's a company called Roche.
Yeah.
And they
The word is grade. You've got it right.
grade.
It's the word grade. That means I use the products that are good, but I don't use ones that were strong enough to affect a penetration. But it's like I use cosmetic grade mineral oil or consumption grade mineral oil. It would be the same thing a hospital would buy if they're going to give you a lower GI. Swallow 2 spoons of mineral oil, run to the bathroom because in 15 minutes you're going to go like a goose. Trust me, the mineral oil is how they do a great purgative. Can you swallow it? Absolutely. I never on my bottle recommend using it as a purgative. But it could be. I buy that grade of product, cleanness that grade provides. I don't use, squeak oil stuff, for squeaks on the door that's lubricants. I buy professional grade because it's going to go on your skin. What if by accident it splashes in your mouth? I don't want you to be poisoned. So I buy those type of grades. But, people give those, they buy my mineral oil and sell it to their horses. When a horse gets plugged up from eating too much hay, makes the horse go like a goose. So it's the same grade. I don't know that I advertise it as such because I don't want them to say it's an edible product. But you can say the word, you just don't make the claim because you can't make the claim that it cures or it heals because it doesn't cure and it doesn't heal.
So pharmaceuticals should be prescription.
All performance, they are. You get a prescription drug or something that's been tested by FDA. And if you get FDA testing, it can be an open the counter like aspirin. And if you buy an aspirin tablet, you don't need a prescription to get it. It's already been tested by the FDA. It is now a drug, and it's considered a drug. A non-prescriptive drug, but still a drug. So if they're making the claim, then they're selling a drug. And if they have the FDA testing, then they can make all the claims they want because they've got the right test. But that's how it works. That way. Now, one of the things that I think you guys are asking and fishing around, and I've done this before many times just for giggles. Anybody ever use Tylenol extra strength? Yeah. Main ingredient is 500 milligrams of acetaminophen. Everybody knows it. But if you have a problem with your PM, I don't know what your PM means, but the main ingredient is 500 milligrams of acetaminophen. But you got to have, the name. So when you go shopping for, either your extra strength or your PM, you gotta have 500 milligrams of acetophenamine. But, you know, I'm trying to figure out, now, if you don't like that, you can buy Excedrin PM, but it's also 500 milligrams of acetophenamine. Find something that's cheap, guys. I don't know why, you know, it doesn't get crazy, but unless you've got a tension headache, which is different than a PM and an extra strength, well, that's 500 milligrams of acetophenamine, unless you have something like a migraine. And if it's a migraine, it's obviously worse than these, but you're buying 500 milligrams of acetophenamine. All I know is go to Costco like you would, buy the off-brand from Kirkland. It's still 500 milligrams of acetophenamine and save a buck. Read labels. You'll see what you got in these things. It gets to be kind of crazy with what you do. Time is short, and usually everybody likes me to make something. I always like to make styling gel. Can I have a volunteer? Volunteer? Do I see a hand? No hand? Oh, there. Come on down. One of the things, don't get crazy about shampoo. There isn't a shampoo out there in the world, I don't care whose brand it is, that I can't make. Shampoo, $1.85 a gallon to manufacture, my cost. Any brand, name it, it's $1.85 a gallon. A conditioner is about $2 to make. Don't get crazy on spending a lot of dollars for the advertising, the brand name, or whosever brand you like, or whatever name you think is on it. We can adjust anything to meet anyone's personal needs, and I have, for the very rich and exclusive, made shampoo custom for some Beverly Hills lady who had more money than God, whose daddy rolled up in a Rolls Royce, and he wanted 100 cases of shampoo with her lousy fragrance, which was lemon. She loved lemon. God, it was awful. But her favorite thing was lemon. So we made lemon, and she just was in hog heaven. And she wanted it just this way with this much lather. I felt like, you know, one of those guys that gave, you know, make like a tailor. I made a suit that was just hers. No one, I understand from talking to him, she gave it to all her girlfriends in Beverly Hills. They all hated it. She had her feelings a little hurt because it was her favorite. So she has a lifetime supply of shampoo in their garage. But it's her custom, for her hair, for her family, for her style, for her lemon shampoo. I'm happy she's happy. Don't ask me. But you know, if you need a custom shampoo, I'm your man. Your name was?
Yolanda.
Yolanda is going to make styling gel. Hold that, please. Okay, in your right hand. Thank you. You do that so well. Now remember, everybody has to see it. Are you right here? You can stir, right? Okay,
Yes.
good. The main ingredient of styling gel is water, of which I got right out of the city faucet. So I'm using the finest.
And that's a little more than half.
Yeah, well, it's close enough. Now everybody uses one ingredient. It's called carbopol. Everybody uses the same thing. There is no other way to make it. When the first guy, B.F. Goodrich, invented the product, he knocked on Grandpa's door, and we made styling gel in 1950. Us and Dippity Doo. And it has this white powder that looks like cocaine. It's not poisonous. So I don't travel on airplanes with it because, you know, everybody thinks I'm doing something illegal. Okay. Oh, here, stir. And as Yolanda stirs it, we dissolve this in water. I have 5 tanks at home. And we dissolve this stuff as she does, and then we have electric mixers is what she's doing by hand. And then we have to pick a color that we want to make our styling gel. Blue gel was popular. I make it clear, I make it black, I make it pink, I make it yellow, I make it purple for Johnny B, if anyone's ever heard of that brand. You name it, I've got 27 different companies that I make gel for, and you guys buy it at whatever price you think is good. It costs me 14 cents a pound to make gel. So don't get crazy on how much you spend on gel. It's just carbopol, which thickens water, and a little bit of resin to make it good, some perfume that you guys get high on, and I pick a color, any color. Today, because I brought blue, excuse me, Yolanda, I'm going to make blue gel, of which that's what it looks like. Now, all that doesn't do a darn thing to make anybody excited until, like, the lady with the pH question, until we adjust pH. Because in shampoo, or in soap, as I mentioned, you don't do anything until you adjust the pH of the soap or the shampoo. Is it alkali? Is it acidic or whatever? The same thing happens in chemistry. And I'm using a product called triethanolamine. You'll see it just about on every label of gel out there. And the only reason we put it in, it gives a little slip to the product, but it also has an alkali. And it has a pH of about 12. But since I use so little, okay, a few of you, Al I've known since he was 7 years old. His mother had CNC Beauty Supply in Pico Rivera on Slauson. Nice guy. When he finally got out of high school, he wanted his own beauty supply. Bought Atlas Wholesaling, and I was the only guy to give him credit. Startup kid, nice guy. And he basically figured, I'm going to buy gel. So he bought my gel. We made it purple for him. One of his sales guys, sharp man, John was just, he was a barber, and he'd worked the barbering trade 3-4 days and sell for Al. And he got into a dispute about how much money he was going to make, and he needed a better commission and wanted to make more money. And John came into my factory and said, well, if you're making gel for him, make gel for me. I can sell it. I'm his #1 salesman. And I didn't want to hurt Al's feelings, so I wouldn't sell to him. So he went to another competitor of mine to make gel. Well, the guy didn't know how to do what I just did. And he made gel, and he didn't realize to keep it clear, which what people value, I'm just going to put the perfume in without a solubilizer. And the first thing it did was it turned really, really cloudy. And it became pasty because he added so much. Flakes.
Is the powder that you put in the gel chemical or organic?
It is not organic, it is chemical. It comes from B.F. Goodrich, the tire company, who made vulcanized rubber. It is chemical. It's a polyacrylate, which means that it takes the hydrogen and oxygen molecule in water and links them. So they look like a big chain, and that's how you make the paste. Question?
Do you make mousse too?
No, and I'll tell you why.
Differences?
Oh, absolutely. Mousse is a product that people have. Now we use the same resin. I didn't add a resin, which is the question, which gives you a little more hold. If I need to bump it up, I can add some resin to it with the perfume. But if I'm making a mousse, you've seen them, it comes out like shaving foam or those pumpers. Those pumpers came out about 11-12 years ago from Airspray in Florida, and they were trying to figure out what to do with them. The only way Airspray foamers work is 2% bubble bath in water and then add resin. What else makes the foam? So you're adding bubble bath to your hair, which is why they never really caught on, because what do you do with the bubble bath you apply to your hair? It coats the hair, build up, burn out, and you got to wash it off and get a clarifier to get it off. But everybody's tried. I've never tried because I thought it was stupid to begin with. But you put it in a foamer, put it on your hair, add a resin, perfume, and then try to market it to you, and you put this foamer on your hair with maybe some silicone for feel, and you still got to get rid of the bubble bath, and it's coated your hair. Normally you'd want to wash it out of the hair. I have no idea why people still buy it, but it's bubbles. The delivery system on this is pure water. The delivery on this is water with bubble bath. I go with the gel if you want a quick hold.
That makes sense because bubble bath is sticking.
Bubble your hair stick. Now, in case anybody, here's the $1 million trick. I like the Morton brand. I know there's Leslie. This is the commercial. In case you guys ever run out of gel and you want your spray gel, grab some salt. Works with mine, any other brand, you name it. I don't care whose it is. This works the same way. You want to put that in a sprayer because it's too thick to go in a sprayer. You're going to pay a lot of money for this. Okay, you'll want to stir away. It reverts back into a sprayable type medium. Now you can put it in your sprayer. Everything that was in the gel before now becomes a spray gel, and you stick it in a bottle. And don't run over to Sally's when you have a client in the store and you go, I ran out of spray gel, what am I going to do? Put a little of this, put in your sprayer, spray it on people's hair, and life will be good. Thank you, Loma. Give her a hand, give her a hand. Do I have any questions before my hour and almost a half questions?
Actually, if I want to make gel at home,
Yes.
and where could I get the powder?
No. You'd have to go to a company called Chemtech. They're on DeSoto, up next door to the Wella company. And you would walk in and say, I'd like to buy a box of this. it costs you $7 a pound, and you'll have to buy 50 pounds of it. That's the disadvantage. That's what keeps you out of the business and me in it, because I buy 10 and 20 cases at a time.
Oh, so there's no.
They don't sell little bottles for home use, because this is a sample size. They give us as kits so we can practice it, back in our labs. And this is a sample kit. This is what they pass out for free. But once you get a sample kit, they want you to be in business.
But why would you manufacture it?
Why would you manufacture? Because you can buy the brand you like.
Sorry, heat on tools, flat irons. Hot Tools makes them for 20 bucks, and it's a great flat iron. It gets to 450 degrees and it straightens your hair. And then you can buy some that are $150 flat irons that still get to 450, kind of played or not gold, and they're tourmaline or they're whatever. If 450 degrees straightens your hair, does it matter what kind of plate is on there?
No. No. But you got to have an edge. Just like the question was, I'm putting in vitamin B in it. There's got to be an edge. It's all natural. You got to have an edge. Otherwise, it's a Me Too product. And when people go to Me Too, price becomes the only factor. And if price is the only factor, how do I get you to buy mine? Sales are hard. You guys are picky. Now, when I grew up, and here's why my value programming is different than a lot of people here. Dad needed tires for the car. He'd get the Sunday paper out, and he'd turn to the back section. Everybody had tires on sale. And the cheapest one was the one he bought. So we'd have 4 Coopers. Who ever heard of Coopers? But it was cheapest. Today you go, well, if it isn't Michelin, I'm not buying it. You're so susceptible to advertising. When you look at what keeps a customer to come back, the number one thing which you would think is, well, I did a lousy job, that happens to be number 6. You did a bad job. The number one reason a customer will not come back that they discovered is your station was filthy or you were filthy. Customers don't like to sit in a dirty salon. If it's clean, the environment is clean, customers come back. Even if you're not the best and the most perfect, they will come back. Clean wins over quality and professionalism. I can assure you that. Number 6 is that one where, you see the quality of job. Number 2, for you will have more clients than they will, and you can do a crappier job than they do. And everybody.
Why do women? They just always flock to the men.
Anytime a lady makes one little screw up, you gals fly right off on your bananas.
Exactly.
And it's cruel. He can do something terrible, and all he has to do is go over, oh dear, you look so good. I mean,
She looks a mess. But if he tells her she looks good, because he's a man, oh, do I? But let a woman do it. I'm not going to that D ever again.
I didn't have to preach it. Out of your own mouth comes my words. That is so true. For whatever reason, there is that psychological edge. He can do no sin.
Convincing them to do their hair so easy, rather than convincing each other.
Exactly.
I know. Well, you have to realize that you women have to have a group to make a decision. Us, we make a decision on our own. This is how men work. You have to have some way where, in your mind, you have to have reinforcement. Does this make me look fat? Does this make me look good? You girls need something from the other girls to know that. So when you go out, like my wife, we've been married for 44 years. I'm going out, and here's how it goes.
What's the trick to that?
Oh, I'll tell you that later. She'll be doing her makeup. I'll come out of the closet, and she'll go, you're not going to wear that tie, are you? I'll walk right back into the closet. She's right behind me like a duck in a jumbo. Goes through all my ties, picks out this tie, wear this one. And on the way past me, she says, and change your shirt. Okay. Finally, I realized that sitting in the car with the motor running won't make her go any faster. So I've learned I sit in the front room, me and the dog, waiting for. She finally comes out, and what does she do? She pulls up her dress. What do you think of these shoes? I'm just the guy that couldn't pick out a tie and a shirt, and I'm supposed to tell her what her shoes are good or not? 6 pairs later, we finally go somewhere. Then we get there, and the first thing they do is oh, you look so good in that. Oh, that's good. Did you get that on sale? Oh, that makes you look so skinny. And us guys are going, huh? What do we know about it? And my wife says, well, nobody noticed my shoes. Margaret, I assure you that every guy there, the first thing they're going to notice is not your shoes. We look at other things first. Then, besides, how good it would look for me to walk up to, hey, how you doing? You think I'm looking down your shirt, you'd hit me. I can't go look at your shoes. So that's bad. So we try not to look at girls' shoes. But it's very crazy on how you girls have this thing about shoes. And then, here's the worst one. I mean, this is the kiss of death. On the way home, you wait for it, you wait for it, you wait for it. She asked this question. Did you see what Helen was wearing? Oh, Christ. Every man in the room noticed what Helen was wearing. Are you kidding me? Helen was advertising all night long. We saw what Helen... Here's the right answer. Margaret, I didn't notice what Helen was wearing. I only had eyes for you. Notice how I practiced that one. What else can I say? I'm dog meat if I come up with anything else. But that's how it goes. I mean, you girls dress for other girls.
Yes, that's what
You don't dress for men. You dress for other girls because you want that recognition that, you know, oh, you like what I'm dressing? It's important to you guys to know what you're wearing. What do we care?
Right.
I mean,
You're just ready to take them off.
okay, if you want to know the truth, if you were dressing for men, you'd be naked. But if you're dressing for women, so that's how it works.
Do you still have marketing classes?
I do marketing as my second. I do chemistry for the one and marketing is another class. Pardon me?
No more classes?
I don't know unless the kids have me come back. I do finance, what it costs to be in this business, how much it costs, where you spend your money. Yes, it's
those
part.
classes.
Well, the sad part about and why it's important, what we've noticed today in the truth, and I'll give you the sad numbers. The state of California recognizes that 85% of our students, as you know, once they graduate, within 3 to 5 years, they'll be out of business. We're cosmetologists. Those who take barbering classes who just cut hair, 85% are still in business. So there seems to be a need for hair cutting. Men go to hair cutters. I still go to shave around the ears with the foam, aftershave on my face. We get haircuts. We're half the population. Women, basically, my daughter's, you know, sadly, she's been educated. I've done the disservice, and so has her hair salon. They've taught her how to do everything because you guys did home maintenance. So I have a 33-year-old daughter who goes to see her cosmetologist twice a year for a hair and a trim. Everything else she's been taught to do. And I go, Joellen, you got all the money in the world. Go out and spend money. Get your hair styled and done and treat yourself. Why? I can save my money to do this. I'm going on vacations. I'm going to this. I'm doing that. You know, and that doesn't help the business. And it's hard for you to do the retention because your customers followed the brand when they went to the market. Joico, Redken, Sebastian, all these are now in a supermarket. All the customers that you train to do home maintenance, what do? They go, hey, they taught me how to use Sebastian products, and guess what? I can buy it at Long's. Why do I need to go into my hairstylist when I know how to trim, perm cut? No, I just go in for supercuts and get a quickie. And there isn't a lot of money there. And a lot of people trying to build a book have a hard time. That just happens to be the case. So we're come to what we were up against. You guys have to learn those things that you will never breathe the secrets of. How to do relaxers, how to do perms, how to do straight. Why do you think Brazilian blowout became the new god of the industry? People wanted their hair straightened and relaxed. They didn't care if it had poisonous formaldehyde in it. They did not care, which is not natural anything. 10%, cooking it at 400 degrees. And people bought it because it was something you could get $300 for. I mean, where do you get that kind of money?
Well, now they have it for at home. You've seen the commercials on TV, how to do your own Brazilian at home. So that'll disappear soon.
Well, it doesn't work.
As well.
I think people.
It doesn't work.
It's not gonna work.
Forget as well. It's only good for 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the most. Because, you know, having the formaldehyde in it actually worked like a perm solution. It broke the cuticle of the hair enough to where the 400 degrees would fry it into position, as long as you had a protein in order to have like a resin, in order to get it to stick in that place. So it lasted about 90 days. The trick is to find something that'll penetrate the hair. You can do that with small molecule proteins, you know, and then fry it in. There are other things that, some preservatives that will do the same thing. Hydantoins will do the same thing in marketing. That'll basically go in and act like, think like, work like in its mind, like the hair doesn't know the difference, like a formaldehyde donor, and still be safe and relax the hair enough that when you hit the 400 degrees, you can straighten the hair and get some length out of it. But we're trying to find something that won't poison everybody, because literally, you know, everybody was just, they were dying. It's like smoking 40 packs of cigarettes every time you did a client. So, welcome to the formaldehyde business. Yes, they did. Yeah. But the resultant product doesn't work very well.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it doesn't.
It's disappearing.
It's a fizzle. It's a shame because they made a great market. Worst part about it, the Brazilian product killed 2 or 3 people in Brazil. It's outlawed in the country of origin. They won't allow it in Canada and won't allow it in Europe. And we finally got rid of it out of California when the OSHA people stepped in. It's a $17,000 citation if they find it in your salon. And by
Some people
OSHA.
still, on the black market.
I don't even know where they get it from.
From the company.
They're not supposed to be making it.
She says on the black market, they can't sell it anymore.
It's formaldehyde free.
What would
Do you have a card?
What would you do if we would know? Like, what would you do if anybody wanted to?
You walk into my factory just like everybody else, and I'll make you a private label product with your perfume.
What is it?
About 100 gallons. This is my smallest tank. It's not a lot. You tell me what you want me to put it in. 100 gallons in gallons, or 400 quarts, or 1,600 8-ounce.
You asked them how much it is.
You never know.
You never. Well, the basic cost.
Might be.
The average price of a gallon of shampoo is $7. And then we basically divide it down into whatever size by adding the size bottle you need to put in, and the type of bottle, and the style of bottle, and do you want a disc cap or non-disc cap? How many color labels?
My question is like, I know you were speaking about different nationalities and like what you adjusted for certain hair types and stuff like that. So you do that for conditioners because, conditioners and different things like that because, some ethnicities' hair is drier and more brittle. So
I know all that. Been doing that for 45 years, kiddo. I know all that. And I have 2 black African-American lines now that we do that you see that you buy. I have several Hispanic companies that we do. The Asians, which totally different. I mean, everything that we make, you would hate because I call it a clarifier because the Asians absolutely love that squeaky clean. So we basically sell clarifiers into the Asian market because they really value cleanliness to a higher level. That's the better word, extreme level. And they go that route.
Yeah, because it even clarifying shampoos with my curly hair, it tangles my hair very badly.
I understand. And we have to modify it. That's why there's no one brand of shampoo for everything. Europeans like myself, or whatever you call,
Number 6.
the number 6. Well, I happen to be because obviously, as you know, if you're Spanish, you're not German. If you're not German, you could be Scandinavian. And everybody has a different skin type, some, as odd as it sounds, if you're Scandinavian, and up there you're all blonde, blue eyes, and very, very white skin. It's like your shirt. It's kind of like, are you albino? And these people are like scary white. And yet, then there's these olive complexion people like Italians and Greeks. And then as you start moving across into the Middle East, everybody has a different genome, okay, on what
type of white.
Exactly. So they gave us numbers. Number 6. Remember, there was American Indian, which was red. You had your Asians, which were yellow, and everybody, like with the shea butter fiasco. It absolutely offends me because it was some dirty grass in this thing. Sold that thing to a company for $4 million.
Well, now I met some Australian people at the last show. And they're taking Johnny B to Australia, so they should have come to you.
No.
Take it to Australia.
No, they can't come to me because Johnny B owns Johnny B.
Right. But to formulate, to make a gel for them.
No, they like the name.
No,
They're buying the name. They don't care. It's a good product. Don't get me wrong. It sells. Please. It sells.
Everything
It sells.
Everything sells on brand.
Yeah. It sells on brand.
The label of Zenith can be used on
like the L'Oreal. Remember the story of the L'Oreal?
Yeah.
It costs a little more. L'Oreal never looked back.
Because I'm worth
They
it.
beat the crap out of Clairol.
Because I'm worth it.
Because I'm worth it.
I'm worth it.
We're worth it. You're worth it. She's worth it. I'm worth it. Everybody's worth it. That tagline has lasted for 30 years with a variation of worthlessness. When we're worth it, she's worth it. Our daughter's worth it. It became the tagline, and you want to buy into the name. People go crazy by saying Eyes On, Paul Mitchell. You name the shirt. You got to have. People are crazy about these things with their brand names. It never was that way 30 years ago.
Schools too,
You got to have a name. I mean, people. The Dodgers People have their baseball caps. They want to be associated with a brand name. And yeah, you're right. I graduated from Paul Mitchell. I graduated from Marinella. I graduated from Citrus. There's some sort of, makes me feel good.
Important.
Or whatever the reason.
Yeah.
I don't know that I even care because for me it's kind of like when I go to the market and I go, let's see, I want to buy milk, Knutson's or Carnation or Altadena Dairy, whatever's on sale. And it comes from a cow.
Yeah.
Or eggs.
Perfumes too?
Perfumes I buy from a perfumer.
Oh,
It's just
so you
easier.
do, you buy
I don't have the
outsourced.
time, I don't have time to buy them. But you're right, the question of organic, in my mind, is the latest new fad.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to a drug maker and you buy aspirin and say, is it organic? Sodium silyl salicylate, when it was invented by the Bayer company, which is one of the things that we got, by the way, from Germany when the war ended. We got Herman the German, the big crane in Long Beach Harbor, the Bayer aspirin formula from the Bayer company, and the formula to make detergent. First thing they made was Tide. That was our war prize for punishing the Germans for the war. We got those three things. Clinton, as you know, gave the Bayer people back their name. In German it's Bayer. But they gave them back their name, and now the family owns Bayer. Well, nice of him.
Well,
But it's a chemical.
yeah, maybe chemical versus, natural things. There is natural formulas you can use, as a
Like the
painkiller.
mayonnaise and eggs
Like
from
a white
moisturizer and avocado and olive
Jerry
oil.
Redding with his protein, he liked eggs. He wanted ovum. Is that good as wheat protein? It comes from wheat. If you would ever understand how we get that, you would never buy organic again. They say, oh, shampoo comes from coconut oil. Great. You know how you get oil out of a coconut, and everybody knows what a coconut is? You put chemicals in it to extract the oil out. You heat it up to 1400 degrees, take sulfuric acid to dissolve it, to make it into a slurry. Once you do that, you have to put acetone in to get the sulfuric acid to neutralize, otherwise you have a slurry, a mess that kills everybody. Once you vaporize that off and then cook it in a refinery, which we call factoring out, the vapor comes off and is cooked like a distillery, and you get your byproducts, out of which one of them happens to be SLS, or whatever the product we're using. The other products are used and sold for other items. I mean, there's a lot of things you can get out of coconut oil besides that. Plus you get cooking oil. You get a lot of cooking oil. And not only that, you can get the same corn syrup that you make for sweeteners. It comes off the same thing. And that puts it in everything that you eat. Comes out of the same coconut.
Something's organic is if you have your own garden and make
growing your own stuff.
It's just the cheapest
Grow
one on
your own
sale.
tomatoes.
Just buy Wesson.
Vegetable oil
It just says Wesson, we grab it.
grapeseed oil.
It doesn't matter, and grape is fine. But grape, you can be careful with grape. It's the one that turns the fastest. It has the shortest shelf life. So you have to be careful. Within 90 days, most grapeseed oil turns rancid. So make sure you turn it quickly, and that's or refrigerate it to help slow up the decomposition. I don't use for that reason. I can't keep it turned fast enough, before it starts to oxidize and turn rancid.
Olive oil stays long.
Wow.
Olive oil is the longest.